Try this one simple trick and watch how people bow down to respect you. Most people enter a room and go completely unnoticed. Their presence, weak. Their energy, forgettable. They speak, but no one really listens. They act, but their actions leave no impact. They exist, but they don't command. And then, there are those who walk in and everything shifts. Eyes lock onto them. Conversations pause. Even those who don't know them feel them. It's not arrogance, it's not aggression. It's raw, undeniable power. What's the difference? Just one simple move. Do this once, and watch how people treat you differently forever. Here's the harsh truth. Society respects strength, not weakness. No one respects the weak. No one follows the uncertain. And no one listens to those who beg for attention. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are being sized up, judged, categorized, placed into an invisible ranking system. It happens in business meetings, it happens in social settings, it happens in relationships. Everywhere you go, you are being measured. And you might think people judge you based on what you say, but the truth is, they judge you based on how you say it, how you move, how you hold yourself, the energy you project. The moment you open your mouth, the way you carry yourself, it all signals something. If you talk too fast, hesitate, or try too hard to impress, you're done. People will subconsciously place you beneath them. And once that label sticks, it's nearly impossible to shake. This is why some people command respect the second they walk into a room, while others struggle to be noticed. And here's what most people don't understand. It has nothing to do with luck, nothing to do with natural charisma. It's about perception, and perception is something you can control. Think about the most powerful people you've seen, CEOs, world leaders, high-sex individuals. They don't chase attention. They don't beg to be heard. Instead, people are drawn to them. They command respect without saying a word. What if I told you there's a way to do the exact same thing? A single change in your body language that flips the power dynamic instantly. One move that forces people to respect you before you even say a word. Master this, and the way people treat you will never be the same again. Most people believe presence is something you're born with, a natural gift, something only the lucky ones have. But that's a lie. Presence is not a gift. It's not luck. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be mastered. You've seen it before. Some people enter a room and the energy shifts. Heads turn, conversations pause. Even those who don't know them feel them. And then there are those who go unnoticed. Their presence, weak. Their energy, forgettable. They exist, but they don't command. So what's the difference? It's not looks. It's not wealth. It's not even intelligence. It's perception. Perception is reality, and the way people perceive you determines everything. How they talk to you, how they treat you, how much respect they give you. And the truth is, you control that perception. Think about the most powerful figures in history, leaders, CEOs, high-status individuals. They don't rush, they don't fidget, they don't chase attention. Instead, they command it. They walk with certainty, they move with intention, they make people feel their presence before they even speak. And that's the key. Most people think presence comes from talking more, being louder, making bigger gestures, but true power, it doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you hold yourself. If you walk into a room unsure of yourself, shoulders tense, eyes darting, movements rushed, people feel it. And whether they realize it or not, they place you beneath them. But when you move with certainty, when your energy is controlled, when you take your time, people sense it. Without a word, they know this person is different. Presence is not about being the loudest. It's about being the most certain. And certainty is expressed through your body language, your pace, your energy. Powerful men don't rush. They don't fill silence. They don't seek approval. They create an aura of control. They own the space they occupy. And that kind of presence, it demands respect. And here's the best part. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be born with it. It's something you train. The way you stand, the way you walk, the way you hold eye contact. These small details send powerful subconscious signals. But there's one technique that separates those who command respect from those who struggle to be noticed. One move that instantly shifts the power dynamic in your favor. One simple but lethal habit that forces people to see you differently. And that technique is the power of pause. Most people talk too much. They talk too fast. They rush to fill silence, afraid that if they don't, they'll be ignored. They speak before they think. They babble, hoping to impress. They let their words spill out without control, without power. And that's exactly why no one takes them seriously. Weak men are uncomfortable with silence. They panic in the pause. They fear the weight of a moment where nothing is said. But powerful men, they use silence. They control it. They command it. They understand something most people never will. Power moves slow. Think about the most dominant creatures in nature. The lion doesn't roar before the hunt. The wolf doesn't bark before the kill. They move in silence. They wait. They calculate. They strike only when the moment is right. The most powerful people in history, leaders, CEOs, warriors, kings, never rush. They don't fill silence with meaningless words. They own it. And when they finally speak, people listen. Because silence creates tension, and tension, it creates power. When you pause before you speak, you signal something. You are not desperate for attention. You are not seeking approval. You control the pace. And people, they instinctively respect that. This is why the most powerful men in the world don't chase attention. They demand it, not by speaking more, but by speaking less. A well-timed pause makes people lean in. It makes them focus on you. It forces them to anticipate what you're about to say. Because the human brain hates uncertainty. And silence? It creates that uncertainty. It makes people uncomfortable. And in that moment of discomfort, you hold the power. The less you seek approval, the more people give it to you. The less you talk, the more your words matter. Most people speak fast. They stumble over their words. They overshare. But when you slow down, you stand out. Your presence becomes more noticeable. Your voice becomes more commanding. Your words carry more weight. Fast talkers sound nervous, insecure, like they're trying too hard. But a man who pauses, a man who speaks deliberately, instantly signals confidence, power, control. And people respect that. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you're in a conversation, whether it's with a friend, a stranger, or even someone in power, pause. When they ask you a question, don't answer immediately. Let the silence stretch. Hold their gaze. Make them wait. And then speak. Slowly, deliberately, with authority. Watch how they shift in their seat. Watch how their eyes stay locked on you. Watch how their energy suddenly adjusts to yours. Do this once, and you'll feel it instantly. Do this daily, and you will never be treated the same again. Most people will ignore this advice. They'll keep talking fast, they'll keep chasing approval, they'll keep being overlooked. But those who master the pause, they rise above the noise. They command the room. They demand respect. The choice is yours. Look at the most powerful men in history. The ones who shaped empires, the ones who dominated boardrooms, the ones who walked into a room and owned it. They all had one thing in common. They never rushed. They never filled silence with nervous chatter. They controlled the room before they even spoke. Think of a great leader, a president, a king, a CEO. Picture them in your mind. Do you see them talking fast? Do you see them stumbling over their words? Do you see them trying to impress people? No, they speak slowly, they pause, they let their words sink in. Because they know power moves slow. Think of men like Steve Jobs. When he spoke, he didn't rush. He didn't beg for attention. He made you wait. And in that wait, in that silence, the anticipation built. He wasn't selling a product. He was commanding attention. Or take Barack Obama. Every word he spoke carried weight. Not because he was the loudest in the room, but because he paced himself. He let his audience sit in the silence. Feel the tension. Hang on to every word. And that tension, it's what made his presence so powerful. Even in movies, the most dominant characters, whether it's The Godfather, James Bond, or a ruthless CEO, never rush. They let the pause work for them. When Vito Corleone speaks in The Godfather, he doesn't ask for respect. He doesn't shout for attention. He sits, he waits, he pauses. And when he finally does speak, every single person in the room listens, because silence commands authority. The same principle applies in combat. A master swordsman doesn't swing wildly. He doesn't attack first. He watches, he waits, he lets his opponent move first, then he strikes. Because true power, true dominance, it doesn't chase, it doesn't force anything, it controls, it dictates the pace. And that's exactly what happens when you use the power of pause. You dictate the rhythm of the conversation. You force them to adjust to you. You make them feel your presence without saying a word. So the next time you're in a conversation, whether it's a business meeting, a date, or a casual interaction, try it. When someone speaks to you, don't rush to answer. Wait, let the pause linger, feel the tension build, and then when you finally speak, watch how they lean in. Watch how they listen more closely. Watch how the entire energy of the interaction shifts in your favor. This is not a trick, this is psychology, and those who master it, they don't just blend in. They own the room. So how do you use this? How do you take this knowledge and turn it into raw, undeniable power? It starts with one simple change. The next time you're in a conversation, whether it's with a friend, a colleague, a stranger, do this. When they ask you a question, pause. Not for a split second, not for half a breath, but for 2 full seconds. Sit in the silence. Hold their gaze. Stay completely still. Let them feel the pause. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them anticipate your response. And then speak. Slowly, deliberately, with absolute control. Most people won't do this. Most people can't do this. Because they're afraid of silence. They're afraid of being misunderstood. They're afraid that if they don't respond immediately, they'll lose the conversation. But that fear, that's what keeps them weak. That's what keeps them invisible. Because when you pause, you don't lose control. You take it. When you pause, people lean in. They listen harder. They start adjusting to you. And when you finally speak, your words land with more impact. Here's another way to apply it. Next time you walk into a room, whether it's a meeting, a party, or a social event, don't rush. Don't walk in looking for someone to talk to. Don't fidget. Don't scan the room nervously. Instead, walk in slowly. Own your space. Move with intention. Pause for just a second before speaking to anyone. Because the moment you rush, the moment you look uncertain, you lose power. But when you pause, when you take your time, people feel it. They notice you. They sense a presence. Because power is not about forcing yourself into the conversation. Power is about becoming the conversation. And here's the final test. Try this in your next high-stakes situation. A job interview, a negotiation, a serious discussion. When you're asked a tough question, don't rush to answer. Pause. Let the silence stretch. Let the weight of the moment settle. Then respond calmly, slowly, with control. Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how people respect you more. Watch how, without saying a single extra word, you start commanding the room. Because those who control themselves control everything. Try this once, just once, and watch how people treat you differently. Pause before you speak. Slow down. Control the rhythm. And when you feel the shift, when you see the way people lean in, when you notice the power that comes from just one small change, you'll never go back. Most people will ignore this. They'll keep talking too fast. They'll keep chasing attention. They'll keep fading into the background. But you have a choice. Master the pause, and you rise above the noise. Command the room, demand respect. So try it today, right now, in your next conversation. And when you feel the difference, drop a comment below. Tell me what happened. And if you want even more psychological tricks to dominate any social situation, hit that like button, subscribe, because this was just the beginning.